Hare Krishna. Welcome back to my channel. I am Radhika Pyari Devidasi and today I am going to share with you the recipe of soy Manchurian. So on my channel you have already seen the recipe of gobi Manchurian and this soy Manchurian recipe is quite famous. So I will show to you how I make my own soy Manchurian. So let's proceed towards the recipe. So the first thing I'm going to do is have this pot of water. Now in this wok I have kept around 3 cups of water. You have to put only a minimum amount of water because I'll show you how to season and cook your soy nuggets first. So here I have some soy sauce. This is like around a quarter cup of it. Just mix that. And then I have some ginger. Now this ginger I'm going to just chop this ginger. You can even grate the ginger if you want. Here I have a red chili. You can even use green chili, not a problem. This red chili is actually quite spicy, so this is good. Now the soy sauce already has some salt, but I will also add a little bit more salt to it. Just a teaspoon around. That's it. Now while the water will start boiling, I am going to add around 2 cups of soy nugget. Now this soy nugget in India it is also called as Nutrela. This is called as soy protein. So this is the ingredient with which I am going to actually prepare the soy Manchurian. That's why it's called soy. So I'm just going to wait until the water starts boiling. It has to come to a complete boil nicely. Stir it nicely. And this soy nugget, the quantity I've used is around 2 cups and a quarter cup more. So if you feel that the water quantity is too much, then you can increase the quantity of your soy nugget. You just have to make sure that there is enough water and only that much until this entire soy nuggets get soaked. It should not be too much water. I'm going to turn off this thing and then I'm just going to pour this nugget inside. And I'm just going to let it sit. So I have turned off the stove completely and I'm just going to let it sit in this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this with a lid and let it soak for around 30 minutes to see how much seasoning the nugget has absorbed. So by the time the soy nuggets are soaking in the seasoning water, I have here some red dried chilies, like it's around 5 to 6 quantity. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak this in hot water for like around 15 to 20 minutes. Now the sauce preparation we are going to do from scratch. I'll go show you how you can do it. You will need tomato puree or a little bit of crushed tomato for this particular sauce. So now for our veggie preparation with the soy Manchurian, I'm going to need around 2 medium size of green bell pepper and 1 red bell pepper. The more bell peppers the better. So I'm just going to show you slicing them. And then also I'm going to use ginger, not this much. I'll show you how much ginger I'm going to use. So first let's start chopping the bell pepper. To make sure to remove these seeds and the stem properly. So you can julienne slice them, or you can chop them in cube slice. It's on you. I will be julienne slicing them today. If you have a mandolin, then that is a good thing. I do have a mandolin, but I'm just going to show you. Do it with your hand. Now with the ginger, I'm just going to take around 2 inch of it. Then I'm just going to remove the skins and then finely chop it. Now if you have a mortar paster, which we call as khalbata, you can use that too. I'm just going to show you. Here I have my mortar paster, so I'm just going to add, just going to do it. This is how minced you need the ginger to be. So I'm just going to keep this aside. So it's been almost the time to check now on the soy nugget. So we're going to check it. We're going to see how much water it has absorbed, and whatever remaining water is that, we're just going to discard it. Okay, see this? Wow, it has absorbed almost all the water. That's why 2 1/4 cup of soy nugget is good for 3 cups, or you can even use 2 1/2 cup of soy nugget. It's not a problem. So what I'm going to do is, there is very little water left right now, like you see this. So I'm going to discard that water and also squeeze out a little bit of water. This particular nugget needs to be cooled down, so I'll keep my window open or near a fan. You just let the soy nugget completely cool down, because we have to coat it with cornstarch in order for it to fry, like become nice and crispy. So while the soy nugget is cooling down, I'm going to use this wok and I'm going to put some oil in it to fry the nuggets. Going to turn it on. Okay. Just going to use some sunflower oil to fry. Okay. While the oil is heating, I'm going to toss this nugget with the cornstarch, which is going to be helpful for us to fry it. I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon at a time. Have to make sure that the nuggets are coated nicely with the cornstarch, and also you have to make sure that there is not too much cornstarch, otherwise the nuggets will taste very chalky. So I've used around like 3 tablespoons to 4 tablespoons of cornstarch in this. Now, not going to wait too long. I'm just going to start frying these nuggets right away. Let's try with one nugget how fast it fries. Okay, it has started frying, so this is what we want. Going to add That's it, not too much clouding. Let the nuggets fry. Eventually this nuggets will start becoming little hard. That's when we have to remove these nuggets. It will start first frying and it will take at least around 5 minutes, and then it will start becoming a little crispier. That's when you have to remove it in another bowl and then fry the next batch. See, they have become crispy. This is what exactly we want. Hear the sound. Okay, I'm going to fry the next batch. Stay a little away from the oil while frying. I wanted to show you how nice and crispy my soy nuggets have turned out. See? Not too crispy, they are still soft. I can press them, but they are crispy from outside. So I don't think I will need to fry them another time, because there is already this sound. I'm just going to keep it like this. Chilies which were soaking, red dry chili, I'm going to make a paste out of this. I'm going to empty out the soy nugget. Perfect. That's what I want. The temperature of it should be medium heat or medium flame, not on high heat. So now I have the wok on heat and I have turned it on so that it becomes nice and hot, and I'm going to use sesame oil. If you want to use regular oil, not a problem, but sesame oil should be the toasted black sesame oil, not the white one, because the smell and the flavor of that sesame oil is not that good. So I'll just show you what kind of sesame oil I'm using. So I'll just show you the sesame oil I have. This is called the pure sesame oil. And then I have another roasted sesame oil. You can find something similar like this. I'm going to add the sesame oil. Around 2 to 3 tablespoons you need, not too much. Now remember that ginger which we had minced, that ginger you have to first add that. I'm going to use little bit of hing. Now you can use in this cabbage, like finely chopped, or celery, but just make sure this ginger is nicely sauteed for a few seconds. As soon as the color starts changing, some tomato puree, and I'm going to use this tomato puree. This is like around quarter cup of it. I'm going to add that. Need to cook this nicely, very nicely. Now I also have that chili which I had blended, so I'm going to add that too. Now this chili, because it is kind of raw, you have to cook it very nicely. So I'm going to cook it for around 5 to 7 minutes on medium heat. The boil is good so that the rawness of the chili and the tomatoes goes away. Now while that sauce is cooking, I just wanted to show you. Now here I have the bowl. In this I am going to add a little bit of my soy sauce, around half cup of soy sauce. Half cup is a little bit more. And then in this I am going to add around a tablespoon to 1.5 tablespoon of cornstarch. And then I have to whisk it. I'm also going to add a little bit of sugar to it. So you see, a little bit of sugar. You can even use brown sugar, not a problem. And then I'm going to whisk it again. Okay, keep it like this. While this is cooking, make sure this is cooking well. Now those bell peppers which we had sliced, I'm going to add that. So here it is. Going to add that. See this? So good. Cook this bell pepper a little bit, just for 1 minute, 1 to 2 minutes, not much. Mixture of this cornstarch and soy sauce we have made. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, like around half cup of water to it. Okay, baby. Okay. So I'm going to add some salt now to this.
Okay.
He's so cute.
Oh, what is doing?
This is around half tablespoon, or you can even use like 2 teaspoons of salt.
Okay.
Around 2 teaspoons of salt.
Oh, salt.
Just make sure this sauce thickens.
That's all.
You see this sauce? This thickening?
Yeah.
And now
You can get water.
I'm going to add a little bit more water.
Yeah, a little bit more water. More water you can use.
That's it. Now the sauce is ready.
Okay.
Now I'm going to reduce the heat to low, and I'm going to add the soy nuggets. And turn off the stove completely. Don't want your soy nugget to be cooked too much. Enough sauce for the nugget to get nicely tossed in this. So here your
I'm happy with you. I'm happy with you.
yes, baby. So now I'm going to add some cilantro. Little bit of garnish. And now placing a tulsi leaf
Okay.
and offering it at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Thank you so much for watching. Hare Krishna.